Boom, boom. This is Kendra. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little bit of Azur Lane up today. I know I already did an Azur Lane video just recently, but I've been getting a lot of questions about the previous virtual tower event where they had Impero introduced, if you remember. There was a lot of talk about whether or not she would be a replacement for Aquila. So let's go ahead and talk about that and why I don't think she is a very good replacement for Aquila. I don't think she would work at all, actually. Impero is pretty good for PvP. One of the pluses is that she does do pretty good damage in terms of Aquila. She does higher damage, but she doesn't have the preloads. And really, this the skill that she's got, this secondary skill, which is this swapping and moving around of hit points and a negligible heal, is really not something. It's like would you use her to replace? Would you replace Impero with Aquila? It's like no, but if you wanted to swap tip points between your fleet during a PvP battle, she would be the way to go. And everybody's like, well, why would I want to do that? And it's like, exactly, you really don't want to do that. So she's really not usable for PvP. So let's talk about the current PvP, and I'll show you what the PvP meta is right now. Well, not technically, I can't show you what it is at this very second. But I'll show you why. So let's go into exercise. I don't have any more exercises today, actually. I used all of them up. But we'll just click on one, and I'll just show you the fleet here. All right, so the current is of course, New Jersey. Okay, you always want to have New Jersey. Okay, period. She's got like 90% usage in PvP. That's the highest PvP usage ever. So there's just, superior in just every way, shape, or form. So you definitely want to have New Jersey in there, and you want to stack her up, give her a rainbow gun and everything. All right. Vittorio is the second. One of the reasons Vittorio is because we're using Aquila. Aquila is, if you want to end a PvP fight quick, and that is the object of PvP. As long as the battle continues in PvP, it's bad. The quicker the battle's over, the better, and that's what you're going to see when you get into the higher tiered fleets. So, Vittorio gets Aquila gets the buff to Vittorio, so they're both Italian ships, as is Duca, who is on the front line now. So this is the current meta in the backfield for your main fleet. All right, I'm still working on. Aquila's at 120, but I've already maxed her out to 125. I just got to get the points up. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. Decided not to go ahead and use a bunch of XP packs on her, simply because the fact that I'm pretty much beating just about everything I come in contact with this fleet. So I mean, I'm serious, and it's not even complete yet. It's like 85-90% complete, but it's not. So this is what you want to have in your backfield. Okay, now the front line. Okay, you definitely want to have Duca, just because you're using Vittorio and Aquila. Okay, she's got pretty high usage, believe it or not, in PvP. I was actually surprised at her usage, but she's still being used. Some people were talking about with the fleet class. They were talking about. Pompey. No, she's not a bad ship for PvP, but she's in no way, shape, or form a PvP. Don't confuse a nice sounding skill set and say, "Ooh, that'd be good for PvP." No, PvP is entirely different. Okay, what we're going for here is torpedo damage, and that's what Duca brings to the line, and that's what Shimikaz brings to the line, and that's what Nishiro brings to the line, plus a torpedo buff. Okay. I eliminate the front line on most flights. I mean, it's just ridiculously how fast I can take down the. I'm actually almost getting torpedo shots onto the back line in the first shot, in the first rally. It's just ridiculous. So this is, of course, um, what is the PvP meta as of about when did Anchorage come out? Uh, Anchorage came out, I think it was about a month and a half ago, maybe? Was it a month and a half ago? 2 months? 3 months? Whenever Anchorage came out, it all changed. So now Anchorage is the best ship for your Vanguard. I'm going to be replacing her. I'll be most likely replacing probably Shimakaze. Most likely, I'm going to keep Duka for just for the added. And Nishira gives a huge buff, so I'm not really sure. It's either going to be Shimakaze or Noshira, one of these two. What I'll have to do is it's going to be a while before I get Anchorage, but Anchorage is a priority ship, guys. I've got her, but you still, once you get her, you still got to gather up all the blueprints and build her. So it takes a really long time to do that. So this is the current meta minus Anchorage. Okay, so we'll be swapping Anchorage in and replace those Shimakaze and Nishira, probably Shimakaze, simply because I'm going to continue to get the buff uh, uh, from Nishira from her torpedoes, and I just love annihilating the front very, very fast. So that is the current PvP if you don't have Anchorage. Now there are other things you can try. I mean, in the backfields, I mean, you can try. You can put in the main fleet. You can add Shinano. Um, but if you're using Benito, it would probably be best to just stay with Aquila, which is what I've done. And I'm seriously, guys, I have absolutely no problem. Uh, Shinano is the best carrier in the game right now. But in terms of PvP, uh, the Japanese fleet is sort of falling out in favor, and we're going more towards an Italian American fleet in terms of what we're looking for um, in PvP. Now there's going to be the Japan event coming up the end of that might all change, but for right now, yeah, that's what the current PvP is. So we want to get Anchorage up, but Anchorage, as I said, she's a PR ship, so it's going to take a little bit of time to bring her up. So in the meantime, I've got everything that I need. I'm just writing them out. I'm going to have all my PvP ships at 125. So let's go ahead and find Anchorage. So Anchorage is at 99, but that's the stars, people. It's a research and development. I mean, you've got to get the blueprints because she's a PR ship. I've got my focus on PR4, which is what she is. So I get stuff for her. As you can see, I've already got her halfway. I'm already at 15 of 30, so I'm halfway through. But I've still got a ways to go. But she is, she's going to be, she's pretty much got max use inside of, it's not quite as hot as New Jersey, but she's still considered what they call Tier O. If you go to Azur meta site, you can get a lot of this information if you want a little bit more detailed. I'm just doing this for some of the guys who might not have seen that, and I keep getting questions about whether or not, Impero should be her use inside of PvP. But yeah, she does more damage, Impero does, but that's because she gets that 15% damage buff. But the fact of the matter is that healing skill is negligible, and it's just you're just moving. You're really just moving hit points around, and everybody's like, you really there's no way to control it. It could be detrimental. It could be negative in terms of PvP. What you're trying to look for in PvP is structure, and you want to keep things. I don't want a skill pulling hit points from one of my ships on the front and giving it to one of my ships on the main fleet. So I don't want that happening. I can't control it. Plus the healing, it's negligible. I mean, if it's an Italian ship, it gets an extra 183. That's these ships are in the thousands in terms of hit points. So 183 is nothing. So yeah, it's just negligible. So most people are considering the second skill to be a negative, and that's except for the 15% buff, which of course makes her do more damage. But if she's messing up your PvP, in other words. So Aquila is still the best ship for PvP. So continue using the backline of Jersey, Benito, and Aquila. Okay, front line you're going to want to go Anchorage when you get her, but most people are not going to get Anchorage anytime soon unless I mean, I consider myself to be I'm going to be doing analyzing some blueprints and getting some extra blueprints to get her up, but it's still probably going to be a couple of months before she's done. So frontline, Shimakaze, Duka, and Nushiro are good for right now. Shimakaze, Duka, and Nushiro, they all fire torpedoes, okay, and they all fire torpedoes fast. And with Nushiro's torpedo buff, it's just ridiculous. There's not very many front lines that can last against that. So basically, your front line, the front line of the opposing team is going to be dead within the first 5 to 10 seconds of the match, and then it's just into the back line. So that's the current meta, and it's effective. Now Anchorage, once we get Anchorage, we'll have to see. I mean, if you look at Anchorage, she's got a pretty good set. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. Standard barrage, evasion rate, okay, and the barrier, okay. Okay, so basically, what we're talking about here is survivability. So we'll have to see. Increases the ship's evasion when the ship fires her torpedoes. So we got torpedoes. But as you can see, just by looking at her, torpedo damage is not going to be. She's not going to be Shimakaze, Duka, nor Shiro level, of course. But she does have them at least. So if you replace Shimakaze, you're going to get evasion and more, more survivability because she's not a destroyer. So she's got better base stats by far. She's a priority ship, so she's tanky. So basically, you're getting more survivability, plus you're getting some torpedo, plus you're getting more damage because she is, a firepower. She's not a torpedo-based ship. So that's the thing. So everybody seems to be using her right now. I'm going to fully build her up, kit her out, get all of her skills done, and then we'll start putting her in there, and I'll see if it's something that I want to do. Pretty much, they say all the top tier PvP teams are pretty much running Anchorage, so that's what I'm doing. But it's going to take a little bit of time to do that. But for right now, you can stick with your standard meta fleet. And you won't have any trouble whatsoever with that PvP fleet. So Impero, no. Aquila, still better. Okay. So that's the question that I was getting asked a couple of DMs about it. So yeah, Aquila, stick with her. Aquila, Benito, and Jersey. Frontline. Until you get Anchorage, go Shimakaze, Duka, and Nushiro. And you should max them out. You of course want to kit them properly. I mean, you want to be putting on the right kit. I mean, you want to be loading them out with torpedoes, of course. That's just given, and you want to get them up to 125, of course. You want to get all their skills maxed out. So there's nothing really special that you have to do in terms of max out the skills. Put the best equipment. There's videos you can watch where you can set equipment stack. Listen, just get the highest efficiency. That's what I do. Okay, I just swap the guns until I get the best efficiency. And that usually is right. There are some guns certain ships that require certain guns, and of course then you have to put that gun on there. But for the most part, you can get by with just making sure you have the highest efficiency, highest damage rate gun on there, unless otherwise. But there's there's way that you can do that. In terms of carriers, you always want to put anything that will speed up. So let's go ahead and just use Aquila for an example. Let me see if I can find her right now. Where you at? She's not going to be in here. Why have I got Eagle Union? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in the process of still leveling these up. I'm running out of mats for this. I got some just recently, and I'll be having some more after this event's over. I'll be buying them in the store. But you always want to put the catapults on here to speed up launches. That's good. That's standard. Okay. Shimakaze and the front line, you want to put torpedoes. I mean, that's just standard. Okay. So there's really nothing in terms of that. You can stick you want as much damage as possible. There are other sets that you can get. You don't have to use 2, but I just use 2. I don't see any reason why not to. There's other stuff you could put on there which would be just as good, but I just use 2.6 because I got a bunch of them. I purchase them inside the shop all the time. Every time the core shop comes up, I grab one, because it's the torpedoes are just so important, even in PvP. Yes, but even in PvE now with the destroyer setup that they're running with, especially with Shimikaze's ability to do serious amounts of damage, it's just best to put as much as get as much damage out of the torpedoes as you can. So it's like being able to fill the screen with torpedoes. It hits just about everything, and it'll make you clear things a lot faster. But yeah, torpedoes are definitely what you want to go. So yeah, that's the current PvP meta that mostly everybody is using. And as soon as I get Anchorage up and get her ready for prime time, we'll go ahead and pop her in there. Now, in terms of that, I managed to get a little bit of the event done today. I'm going to do some more tonight, but I got most of the actual. Just been clearing out these early ones, getting the +5, and the plus. I've already cleared out the Bs, and I'm working on the Cs right now. I'll clear these out tonight. Okay, and then I'll tomorrow morning I'll knock these out, and then I'll start working on D3 and D4 to finish the event and now have SP. I'm using for the lower levels. I'm using a token fleet, which has just got a bunch of the ships that I'm just leveling up. So this has been serving me pretty good. I've got Impero in there. I've got Benito in there. That is Little Renown. That is Admiral Hipper, and that is Jamaica, and that is Vampire. Now, the reason one of my subscribers pointed out that in the original Aurora Noctis event, not everybody had Hipper. Hipper hadn't been released, so they were using Graf Spee as the ship in the mission that was for the extra points. Hopefully, let's see if they changed that. They did come out with an event. Let's see if they changed it. No, they've still got Graf Spee in here. So we'll find out. I already did A3. Okay, and I had Hipper in there, and I did not get anything for that. So we'll have to see exactly what's going to happen in terms of that. I don't have Belfast in there. I've got Belfast maxed out, so there's really no need for me to stick her in there. I wanted to stick something with a little bit more power. All three of these XP20 ships are frontline ships, so Belfast is a frontline ship as well, so there just wasn't any room for her. But I did do A3, and Hipper was in there. I did not get the pointies for that, so you're probably going to have to use Graf Spee if you're planning on doing this and getting the 200 points for that. Hopefully it will be changed. It really does not matter if you get all of the ships. You will have enough points to get the frame without having to use these. But if you come up short, then you might need these. So I've got to get Perseus and Valiant. So I'll be throwing some cubes at him. Hopefully I'll get lucky. If not, Perseus is an excellent PvE ship. You'll see here a little bit in PvP, but in terms, she's not. Her heal and the skill set that she's got makes her a good PvE ship. So this is not like any type of PvP. You need Perseus for your PvP fleet. She's not in the meta. Okay. So some of the other ships that you can talk about on your front line. As I said, backline, we've got Shinano, something that you could consider. Okay. Now in the front line, Vanguard. Now, you've always got you've got the base. You've got Juno. She's still surprisingly a large number of people still use her, which is cute. But the problem is you need her for her to die at the right time. So what happens is Martyr. Okay, she heals all the ships and your fleet for 20% when she dies. Okay, so the key is the problem is you're giving up a lot of stuff to get this. So it's really not something that So what I did in my terms, one of the things that I did was I went ahead and for Noshiro, I threw on. It's really not something that you want to do. I went ahead and did it just to see if how feasible it was, and if it would really work in terms of being usefulness. And it has actually procced a couple times. I need to enhance this up, but ooh, I got enough of those, so I'm going to go ahead and enhance that. Well, no one's pointing. But I put the heals off friendlies for 10% of their max support when the ship with this item sinks. The reason it's not really that much of an issue for Nashira is Nashira rarely sinks. She's a pretty tanky ship. But it has, on occasion, procced. So make sure that you're putting Nashira on a wing if you're going to put that piece of equipment on her. You don't want to put her in the center. Okay, damage naturally refers to the bookends and works its way inward to the center. So the bookends are going to get hit first generally. Sometimes the center will get hit. But for the most part, the way they flow across the screen, the end ships get hit first. So make sure you're putting a zero on your on one of your ends, on one of your bookends, if you're going to use that particular piece of equipment. And it has procced on occasion. She has died, and I've got some heal from it. So it's not. So there are other ways. That's the bad thing about using Juno. Juno, yeah, she'll give you quite a huge heal, but it's iffy. You want to try to control when she dies, and you can't really do that effectively. But she still gets pretty good use, especially because of the fact of what she is, which she's just a rare ship. So she's easy to get, easy to build, okay, and so maxing her out is not a problem at all. I've already got her at 1 or 5. I did use her for a little while inside. That's why her skills are maxed out. But then when Shimakaze came out, I just started rolling. I wanted to roll a different way. And so I switched it to this. And I have a lot more success with the current setup in there. But she is something to consider. Another Yukikaze is something to consider as well. She's still quite a huge staple inside of PvP, and that is again simply because of the fact that she offers a little bit of healing as well too. Let's go ahead and take a look at Yukikaze. I used her for a little while as well too. I've tried just about everything. I always try to keep close with the meta, but a lot of times you might not have the meta ships that you need. Okay, so we've got here damage reduction. Okay, well, it decreases the damage once per battle when the HP of your ship and your main fleet falls, which heals them for 10%. So this is what makes her an excellent. So she's definitely a feasibility for your front line as well too. So there are other, but if you've got Shimakaze, Duka, and Noshiro, that is the standard until you can get Anchorage up and online. And yes, she's a PR4 ship. So you're going to have to go into PR, you're going to have to build her, you're going to have to run and get the experience data. But they do have data packs. You can sort of speed that stuff up a little bit. But you definitely want to go for Anchorage if you're going to think about being a serious competitor within PvP. Okay? So I hope you have any questions. Anything, you can hit me up. But that's pretty much, like I say, the Azur Lane meta channels out there. You can go look on stuff for that. And they can talk about all the ships. They'll give you all Tier 0 and Tier 1 ships. And there's others that you can use. And all of them have sort of niche usage. Frontline San Diego is a good frontline ship. The anti-air queen, or I should say the anti-air idol. She's always professing to be. So there are other instances that you can use, and they can explain them in depth. But this is just for, myself was asking about it and whether or not I was going to replace, if I was going to put Impero in my PvP fleet, and no, I'm not going to. Okay? So thanks a lot for watching. Remember to subscribe. Once you've subscribed, you'll see the bell. Click on it, you get notified each time I drop a video. Also remember to like and share, as that will help the channel immensely. Kenrick coming at you in the corner, signing out.